Hello and welcome to Real Watchers Movie Club. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are your hosts. Movie Club is the show where we pick a movie and discuss it every week, just like a book club. On today's show, we're going to be covering the Danish psychological drama, The Hunt. Our thoughts and more coming up on Movie Club. Released in 2012, The Hunt was directed by Thomas Vinterberg and stars Mads Mikkelsen, Thomas Bo Larsen, and Annika Wetterkop. Sorry if there's any mispronunciation of those names. A teacher lives a lonely life, all the while struggling over his son's custody. His life slowly gets better as he finds love and receives good news from his son, but his new luck is about to be brutally shattered by an innocent little lie. It's currently ranked 94 on IMDb's Top 250, and currently has a 4.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and is ranked 163 on its Top 250. The film was nominated for one Academy Award for Best International Feature. Before we dive into our thoughts, though, we do want to issue a spoiler warning for this film, which I'm probably sure a lot of you have not seen this movie unless you're kind of more of a cinephile or something. So make sure that you watch the movie first and then come back here and watch this, because we do not want to spoil what happens for you in this movie. Of course, make sure you stay till the end of the show to find out what movie we're covering next week, because it's been one that I've been waiting to watch for a long time. So can't wait to talk about it. Okay, Kevin, probably time to tell the funny story about why you picked this movie this week.
Yeah, I thought it was the 2020 horror, not horror, but like suspense thriller movie about I think it's a girl that gets married into a family that hunts the bride or something like that. So
that's Ready or Not.
Which one is
The Hunt? Is the one where like the rich hunt the poor?
Oh, okay, yeah. So I definitely thought it was that one and not this one, but I am so glad that was a mistake.
Yeah, this is a movie that I knew that it existed, but I had never seen, and I had never really seen anyone talk about it. And only kind of as we were looking to get ready to do this episode, I saw that it was quite well regarded on a lot of different circles on IMDb and Letterboxd. And I'm a sucker for some Mads Mikkelsen. I love me some Mads. He is one of the better actors to come out of Europe lately. So I was just really excited to see this movie. And starting this out, I am going to claim something about this movie that I don't think anyone else has really claimed. And I want to get your opinion on that.
Okay.
I think that this is a horror movie.
This is as I put in my review, this is a frustrating movie.
Yes.
I was enthralled with it, but I was also like, what the, like, why is this happening? Why did they do this that way? And how it's just your best friends can turn on you in just a second when something happens just by them talking about it. And it's very interesting to see how people just turn an eye or anything like that about things that happen in this movie.
Yeah, it is a very frustrating one, obviously, because I think that we as the audience, we know the truth.
Okay, when I was watching this movie, I also put this in my review, it makes you second guess the entire time. I was thinking, because the way he's like in one sequence, the way he speaks to Clara at the front door, and the way he just doesn't sentence it right for me to be like, oh, he's innocent, even though he's innocent the entire time. It's when he's talking to Clara on the front door, and he's using different words that you wouldn't use to be like innocent, to act innocent. He was using different words to make the viewer think that there's some part that might have he had done it, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Or when he gets called into the principal, I'm going to call her the principal's office, Greta, and he doesn't deny everything. He sits there and says, well, why? And he questions it instead of making himself look innocent the entire time. If you catch my drift.
Sure, and I think I could see how you would think that. Um, but I think it's very clear that he didn't do it.
Yeah, but
Um,
having it start off the movie, this movie starts off really good as well. Like 10 minutes, you are into the thick of it in this
yeah.
movie, and throughout the whole like second and third act of this movie, I was always thinking to myself like, what if he actually did do this? Like, why would they be all for this little girl saying this thing, but they all know him so well? And I don't know, like my brain was like, what if, like, if he did do that, even though we know he doesn't, it's like he could have. I was just it was just I love when movies do that to me though, because I'm like, I'm second guessing it every single time, and I'm paying attention to what he's saying to everybody around him and seeing if he maybe uh let something out that he wasn't supposed to. And
Which is interesting because you are taking the opposite path that I think a lot of the people in the movie should have taken.
mm-hmm.
It's been like, what if he didn't do it? And I think that that's so fascinating that the movie made you that you made you think that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not sorry. There's a fly going around my um, there's not a lot of reason for me. I wasn't watching the movie thinking that somehow he had done it. I think I can understand what you're saying though, and I think that maybe like what you're saying in like the words he picks towards that
Yeah.
one moment,
Mm-hmm.
it may be something due to the translation, and
Maybe.
there
Mm-hmm.
could be that. I'm saying that could be an option, but I never really got the feeling. I the way that I kind of looked at it is that, you know, this is and as I wrote in my review, this is a not a perfect person, but a
Mm-mm.
good person. And you can be a good person without being a perfect person.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he's made some mistakes. That's obviously why his ex-wife and his son are no longer around him full time. But
Mm-hmm.
you can see that he's trying to make you know, improvements. He got this job. He, you know, found a new person that he loves. Like he's making these improvements. And so because of that being in mind for the character, I kind of read it more as like, because he's never really truly upset at Clara.
No, and that's what makes it even weirder, I feel like. Because you would, if you get like an allegation like that on you, for me, I would be furious because
100%.
because I wouldn't want my name to be shattered like his was
Yeah.
in his village, in his small village. Everybody knows, and that's
Yes.
what's even worse too.
But I think that, you know, I was reading some other people's responses to the film, and
Hmm.
there was a couple people that said that they were teachers, like Lucas is in the movie, and they realized that like they see thousands of little white lies like those a day, and it's literally
Yeah.
because children do not have the moral complexities to think of what does this mean for someone else. They're
Hmm.
doing, you know, Clara's doing it because he refused the little gift that she wanted to give him.
The heart that he
Yeah,
made for him.
and she got upset about that. And so, you know, like children do weird shit. It doesn't mean that it's real. Granted,
Hmm.
there are a lot of times when children do come forward and say something that has happened, and it has, you
Hmm.
know, and they do need to be taken seriously. But
Yeah.
they're also like, I think when you, especially when you're a teacher, you know that these kinds of things are said. And I do think that, like, as the way that I interpreted the film, he understands that kids are like this, and he's
Hmm.
not truly mad at her. And
Yeah.
I think that, you know, like I'm not going to be coy. I do not like children. Um, and this movie is another reason on my list for why I hate children. But I I get it. Like children
Hmm.
make up these stupid things.
And
And
I like how he didn't get aggressive with her in any way, because that would make him look even more guilty than he
Yes,
already was.
exactly. And I think he understands that too. And
Hmm.
that's why he's not angry at her. Obviously, his son gets very angry at her.
But I love how the son gets angry because
Yeah.
he knows his dad, and
Hmm.
he knows he wouldn't do that, and he knows his dad would not get mad at a little kid for spreading a lie.
Yeah.
And
But also,
he
he is a child too. So he gets angry
but
and
more
spits
grown
at her
up.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
But he's still a child as well. And so
Exactly.
it's something truly fascinating. And I really like the struggle that I'm gonna forget his name. The best friend,
Oh, I think it starts with a Z or something
Theo.
like Theo. T.
The struggle that he goes through. There's the scene where it's just him and Lucas talking about what she said, and he's like, "My daughter never lies. She never
Yes.
says anything."
Hmm.
And earlier in the film, they set up that that Theo knows when Lucas is lying to him,
Yeah. Hmm.
and he never does. And so it's crazy that he still goes along with it for a long time.
Yeah, he
And
does. And in that sequence as well, when Theo flips a switch, too, Theo is talking to Lucas one on one, but then the wife comes in and he's like, "Oh, I have to protect my family," even
Mhm.
though he's still thinking, his gears are still turning. Is who should I believe in this?
Yeah,
But in that moment, he's like, "I have to protect my family because
100%.
what if it is real?" He needs to. In that sequence when he throws him up against the wall, he could have thrown him a lot harder against the wall if he really wanted to, but it looked like he held back because he's still unsure of it. And that's what I really liked about his character as well,
Yeah.
is you can see him always questioning what is the truth and what is a lie.
Mhm.
And it's amazing how he acted through this as well. And I did you like Clara as a child actor? I think she was really good.
As a child actor, yes, she did a great job.
Mhm.
And I actually read an interesting fun fact is that they never told her the reasoning or what the crime was.
Mm.
They never told her that it was like a sexual abuse thing.
Okay.
So she was never exposed to that. What she in
Interesting.
fact knew is all she knew is that the character Lucas had committed a crime and was lying about it. That's all she was told. So I
Also,
really respect them for not pushing a child actress into
that's
that world.
crazy. So she was trying to prove the truth through
Hmm.
through the Sesmo. That's crazy. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
That happens.
But as a character, no, I fucking hate
No.
her.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. As it, dude, she was so frustrating throughout this whole thing.
But
And
oh man,
but it was so good because you were so frustrated at what she did.
there's one moment and it involves her, and I think it's the moment where the iceberg strikes the ship in this movie.
Okay.
And it's when Clara's brother or the older kid shows her the inappropriate imagery
Just for a second.
for a second.
A
And
second.
immediately the mood goes way south.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
the rest of this movie feels fine. You know, he's working with the kids, he's doing great.
Oh,
getting
he's having so much
reconnected.
fun with them, and he's loving life. He just has a new person that he just met and everything. Yeah, and then as soon as that picture shows up, it just starts going spiraling down.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and it's one of the crux points of the movie. I don't want to say it's my favorite part because I don't think children should really be exposed to something that graphic
But
that quickly.
But it wasn't that, like, it wasn't on your screen for 10 seconds. It was like if you
It was
blinked,
like,
you
woo!
yeah, it's like on an iPad and then done. And it's if you missed it, you'd be like, why did she even think about telling him that?
Yeah.
So, and I love that. I loved how they just didn't keep going back or like have like a flashback of her seeing the picture. It was like, if you know, you know. And then
Yeah.
we're going to keep going on.
And I what I really wanted to touch on though is like that moment, but then my favorite moment of the movie.
Which is
And I want to know if you can guess what my favorite moment of the movie
Is it when she finally tells Theo, like, actually the confession, pretty much?
Oh no, that's a fantastic moment too, and
Yeah.
I really liked that. And there is remorse in her.
There's remorse in Theo too, and
Everyone.
asking.
Well,
Yeah, well, Clara goes, "Dad, are you crying?" And it's like, yeah, of course he is, because he believed you the entire time. And the police in this movie are absolutely stupid. They didn't do anything. Just saying. Um,
but apparently this is I didn't know this before I wrote my review, but this is based off of a real thing that happened in
oh,
Norway, I think. Um, but yeah, it's like, and apparently
that's
the police
great.
were not much better there.
Okay. Well,
But
so what was your favorite in this movie?
the end.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that, because
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't think I understood it.
Okay.
In my eyes, him going hunting with his son, um, I think that is Theo.
Ooh. Okay.
Just to be like, if this actually did happen, you would be dead in my eyes, like something like that. Or
See,
I don't know if I understood it enough. That's the thing, because I'm trying to piece it together, and I couldn't tell who it was or what happened or anything.
light bulb just flashed in my head.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I don't think it's Theo.
Okay.
I
Because they
think
made amends and everything like that.
they made amends, and the moment of him bringing him the food was
Yeah.
fantastic. And I think there's a lot of things that movies get wrong, but this movie got really right. Is when specifically a man, because there's a lot of toxic masculinity out there in the world. When a man comes to another man and says, "I was wrong," I always will appreciate seeing that, because
Mhm.
it's something that I try to do in my own life. So I try, like, if I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong and I will work to improve it. Right.
Mhm.
So I appreciate seeing that in film and not be like, yeah, daughter lied, but we're going back to normal. Like, like, but so I don't think it's Theo at the end.
Okay.
I don't think it's anyone we know.
Hmm.
And I think the entire purpose of that person's identity being hidden is because it could be anyone.
Yeah. I can see that be the reasoning.
It's literally because and I think that this movie is so important to watch, especially right now in 2025. And I'll get into that in a second. But like, especially now in the age of the internet and social media, because witch hunts are a thing, which is what this movie's named after.
Mhm.
But like, it is supposed to be that you are innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's you're guilty until you're proven guilty. And then even if you're innocent, you're guilty.
Yeah.
There
Mhm.
is no innocence anymore, according to the internet and the anonymous people out there, which is the
Mhm.
entire reasoning for the ending. Because there are people who are not going to give up, even though it was thoroughly disproven.
There's still going to be that 1% or something that is
There's
going to.
still going to be people that do not let you live it down,
Mm.
even though you didn't do it. And it's what's so fascinating to me, and why I think his realization of that is crazy. Because
Mhm.
Theo and his daughter are there at the event.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
they're not, they've moved on. It's a year later.
Yeah.
So who else would it be? It's anyone. And I think
Mhm.
that is probably the most metaphorical part of the movie,
Okay. Okay.
is that it can be anyone. And then anyone or everyone. You're
Yeah.
still going to have those thoughts inside your head. What if he did it?
Yeah, exactly. It's always
And
going
if
to be
he
in the
did,
back.
this is what I could do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing. But I wanted to go back to when Lucas kind of not and I don't want to say Lucas kind of greets Clara back into his arms a little bit. Is in the when a year later they get reunited, and it's the little lines on the floor that they talk about. Because in the beginning of the movie, she doesn't want to step on a line for some reason. It's a dumb reason. But in the kitchen of these tiles, there's a bunch of little lines, and he calls out to her how are you gonna get over here? There's so many lines, you're gonna step on all of them. And that's such a nice way of saying it. Like, okay, you can come here. I forgive you in a way if you just make it all the way over here. And I thought that was very interesting because it kind of, at the beginning of the movie, she doesn't want to step on the lines. At the end of the movie, she wants to step on lines to go to him, which I got from that. And I thought that was fantastic and little just reconnection between them because it felt like throughout the whole movie it's broken because of what she said.
Yeah, and it's clear that there are several points throughout the movie where Clara wants to talk to him or
Oh,
wants, but then can't because of what she did, right? And so
mhm.
I think that that's just a really smart decision in
Yeah.
terms of the script.
Mhm.
But one thing I did want to talk about is that why this movie is so important right
Oh
now
yeah,
to
go for it.
watch. We are in the age now, which a lot of people are calling the post-truth age, which is it doesn't matter what the truth is, people are going to believe what they're going to believe,
Hmm.
and mostly resorts to politics. But it relates to this movie as well. People are going to believe whatever they want to believe, and they're not
Hmm.
going to hear the truth, which leans into the ending. Um, and I think that makes it more just as important to watch now as it was back then. This was also like this was based off of an actual event apparently, but it was also done right after like the Catholic Church had its files leaked about like the pedophilia
Mm.
and a lot of other similar events. So like this is in response to a couple of different things. And kind of been thinking about it too, now that you kind of say like, oh, well, maybe he did actually do it. I don't I don't think the movie would do that because
Hmm.
arguably we've seen movies from the serial killer's point of view. We get things
Hmm.
like In a Violent Nature is from the slasher's point of view. We've got Presence coming up, which is from a ghost's point of view. Like we've seen movies from points of view that we don't typically get. It
Hmm.
is very hard to make a movie from the point of view or following someone or a heroic protagonist who is a child predator.
Yeah. Hmm.
You're not going to be able to do that. Even in another country like this, you're not
No.
going to be able to do that and without making it like a snuff film or like a really incredibly indie film.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I doubt that that's what they're going for. If you kind
Felt
of follow
so
what I'm saying.
lingering sometimes. It made me think about like just in the back of my mind, what if? And that's what all the other characters are doing. They're not
Yeah.
asking what if, they're asking uh why did he do it? Or
Yeah.
why doesn't he just fess up to it? Why doesn't he's not s- I don't want to say he's not standing up for himself, but he's not fighting against us. And like at the church, that's the first time we see him stand up for himself a little bit more. And and then that's when Lucas is like, okay, there's got to be something up. This isn't like him. And that's how best friends come into play is
Lucas,
um
you mean Theo?
oh, I mean Theo. I'm so sorry. Yes, Theo
Okay.
kind of looks when he's staring at Lucas. Theo's staring at Lucas in church, and he's just like, "There's something just not right that I'm doing," and that's when everything clicks and everything gets the puzzle pieces come together in this. But damn, this movie's so good.
Also, one other thing I want to point out too is that um, the movie, and maybe I'll ask this as a question
Okay.
to see if you can kind of get along the same lines that I'm thinking here.
Mm-hmm.
When does this movie take place?
Like year wise,
No, time of year.
like fall, winter, I would say.
There's a specific holiday.
Oh, Christmas. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not
Mhm.
saying this is a Christmas movie, but um,
Oh, that's a horrible. This is not a
when
good Christmas movie.
when the holidays are a time of year when people who are alone feel the most alone.
Hmm.
So you take a situation where you are outcasting someone, making them the most alone they've ever been during the time of year when you already feel the most alone is a
Hmm.
brilliant touch.
Yeah. because he doesn't have his son yet, right? When
I mean, he's kind of there, but he's not like
it's not
totally in the
always
picture
there.
yet.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he moved to make himself better. He's making himself better, and then this happens, and then it's Christmas, and then the mom doesn't pick up the phone, or his ex-wife doesn't pick up the phone. Everything just spirals down out of control.
Yep. And it's
Hmm.
fantastic. And what's funny is I think this is one of our best discussions in a while, because
Hmm.
we've been going for just over 25 minutes now without any kind of room for cutting, and we've mostly been talking about what the film was trying to say, and not
Yeah.
how good the cinematography was or how good the acting was. And I think that that's something really special. It's taken about 79 episodes, but we've gotten there, Kevin.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm
You're
just kidding.
there.
But on the technical notes, Mads Mikkelsen is fantastic in this movie.
Oh, love him in
Um,
this movie.
we here in the United States keep doing this man a disservice. We keep casting him as a villain in everything, and he is a great
Mhm.
protagonist.
He
Like, I
is.
want to see him as a good guy more often.
Hmm.
Also, you know, the girl actor, I'm gonna butcher the name, Annika Wetterkop. She's great as a child actress, even though you hate her character. And
Oh,
then,
she does such a
uh,
good job because of how innocent she looks too throughout the whole movie.
yeah, 100%. And
Hmm.
and then Thomas Bo Larson, who plays Theo, is also fantastic in this.
Hmm.
I mean, really, everyone is very good in this. Thomas Vinterberg is known for bringing these kind of group casts together in a very nice way. It happened with the
Hmm.
celebration. It was that way in Another Round, so I'm glad to see it's the same way here.
Hmm.
And I mean, the movie it's shot really well. I'm not going to say it's like the best looking movie ever, but like
Yeah.
taking that handheld approach actually feels like it works here. It
Hmm.
actually feels like we're someone there watching these things happen, which I
Hmm.
really appreciate. Usually, I'm not a fan of having the cam kind of like shake a little bit. I
Hmm.
hate that. Just keep it on the fucking tripod. It's not hard. But here, it actually makes you feel like you're sitting there, which I
Hmm.
really really enjoyed.
See,
And
I don't
yeah,
even think I noticed the camera shaking because that's how glued I was to the screen about this movie. So,
hey, that's not a bad thing.
nope, it is
So
not.
okay, Kevin. So this was your pick this week. Let's go ahead and get to your
Mm.
final thoughts and your score.
The final thoughts and score. The final thoughts are this is going to be a frustrating movie for everyone who starts to watch it, but it's a good frustration because of the way that how it ends and how people realize that he is telling the truth and not fibbing. Again, Mads Mikkelsen, is that how you said his last name?
Yeah.
Yeah, is fantastic in this movie. So such great emotions for a character, and how he talks with the children as well during the whole scene, not getting frustrated at him, but getting frustrated at the parents instead. Um, Cinematography fantastic, but this is just a great movie. I gave it 98 out of 100.
Damn. All
Hmm.
right. Yeah. So for me, I said that this is um, a frustrating and potent reminder of the damaging nature of lies and the propagation of false information. It feels like an incredibly important film right now in this point in history, especially in this country. And I think that this movie is really, really great. The only thing I would have liked to have seen more is a little bit more doubt in people, not just kind
Mm-hmm.
of bandwagoning. But the problem is that is how society works these days. It's an all versus one perspective. So
Mm-hmm.
with that, it is a fantastic movie. If you're not usually one to watch movies with subtitles, make an exception and watch this movie. And I will just go ahead and say this might be one of the scarier movies that I've seen in a while, just because of the thing that scares me the most is what people are capable of doing to other people,
Mm-hmm.
whether that is abusing a child or destroying someone's life over a lie. That
Yeah.
is scarier to me than any ghost will be, or any kind of alien abduction or whatever. This
Mm-hmm.
is one of the scary movies that I've seen in a while. So with that, I gave it a 97 out of 100, which is 4.5 stars out of 5. I also really, really enjoyed this movie. It's gonna be one that I recommend to people from here on out.
Yeah.
So, but the question now falls to you. What do you think of The Hunt, if you've seen it? Hopefully you have, and you're not watching this without spoiling it for yourself. But go ahead and leave those thoughts in the comment section. Just remember to be respectful of one another, because that's, the whole point of this fucking movie.
Yep.
And next week, though, we are covering a movie that I've been very excited to cover, and I cannot wait to watch it here with Kevin, which is the classic drama Do the Right Thing. From Spike Lee. So cannot wait to check that out. Make sure to watch it before next week so you are not spoiled. And that's going to be it. So thank you so much for watching. Of course, we have this show goes live every Friday at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we also have our weekly live stream on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we talk about movie news, reviews, and so much more. But that's going to be it. So thank you again so much for joining us. And until next time, remember to keep those eyes on the screen.